the time has come to make some changes to this camper setup. As with every camper, it is a lot of trial and error, you know. We've tried a few different things in here, and I want to make some upgrades, make some changes. I am going to be taking the Element on a trip across Texas very, very soon, within a couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I got to get things ready in here. There are a few things that I really need to upgrade, a few things that need to be changed. This setup in here, when I built it back at the end of last year, was designed to be modular. We wanted to be able to take it out, put the seats back in, that kind of thing. But since that point, it's pretty much been in here non-stop. I mean, there's been a couple of times we popped the seats in, but for the most part, it's here permanently. And for us, it's just Shannon and I out here right now, so the seats are just in storage in the tiny house loft. And I want to make this just a little bit better. Right now, it's kind of a pretty bad use of space. I mean, look where I'm sitting here, guys. Like, all of this space underneath me could be used for storage. I can make this into a slightly bigger platform. I want to get a power system in here. I want to get a small little 12-volt fridge in here as well, just to make it a, more versatile setup. And then on top of that, the whole bed system that I built here, I think it was a pretty good idea, but it's kind of falling apart. Like, this hinge right here is just completely coming off, and it rattles and makes all kind of noise, especially when we're going down these dirt roads. It's very, very annoying, and there's all this wasted space on the sides. My original plan was to build up shelving into the windows. I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm just going to make this into a better platform. Alright, step one, I'm just going to blow up this bed. Take it all apart. I'm going to try to salvage what I can, and I guess I'll see you on the other side. All of these screws here just popped right out. I guess thanks to the rolling earthquake effect. Step two, move everything over like 2 inches. Will it fit? Not bad. I think that'll work. Step three is to just extend this platform. I'm basically just going to build another box very similar to the one that's already there, except it's going to be facing this way. So there'll be 2 storage compartments that I can access from inside the Element, and then there will be a little bit of space here, which I'm going to intentionally leave empty. On this side, I'm going to put a fridge, a small 12-volt fridge. I just ordered it. Should be here, hopefully, before I leave on my trip. Maybe not. And then on the other side, I'm going to put the solar power station. This is the Pecron E1000 portable power station here. This company reached out to me a little while ago, and I got to looking at the product, and I quickly realized that it was the perfect size for inside the Element here. This plastic trim piece behind both the driver's seat and the passenger seat, it fits very snugly right in between there, right behind the seat. It's also the perfect height for when I do build the bed flap. There'll be one last piece that'll rest, hopefully pretty nicely right on top of this here. Very, very easy to move around as well, and I was pretty impressed by it. I thought that, it's a lot of power inside a small package. It has a 1,000 watt inverter, as well as just over 1,000 watt hours of battery capacity. You've got a couple of USB ports on here, DC output, as well as a couple of AC outputs, and this thing should work pretty nicely to power the fridge that I ordered. It's a small 12-volt fridge, as well as just charging up camera batteries and cell phone and everything like that. And then the biggest thing is running a 12-volt fan. I am going to run a fan blowing on me at night because it's going to be pretty hot where I'm going in Texas in May, and then I'm probably going to make some trips over to the coast this summer, so It'd be pretty important to have some sort of power in here all night long. In terms of charging it, it can be charged with a regular AC wall outlet. It also has a car charger option, which I will keep you all posted. I know I've had a couple of issues with those car chargers in the past. They never really worked well, but I'll give it a try. I'm sure at some point I'll let you guys know. And then obviously the main thing is it is a solar power station, so I'm going to have two 50-watt solar panels on the roof connected in series and run them into this unit here. They do have to be connected like that because it requires a 36-volt input. One panel at 18 volts open circuit voltage like I had in my original Element would not work with this. So I did have to go with two 50-watt panels, but they should be here any day. Hopefully I'll hook those up before the end of this video and get this thing going. Pretty excited. I have tested it out. I did plug in our 400 watts of solar. I took two 200-watt panels and just tried it out earlier today. It worked really, really well. Should charge quickly and be more than enough power for what I need when I'm traveling in this Element camper for a week or two at a time. And I do have a link and a promo code that you guys can use if you are interested in checking these out. I'll put that in the description below. Tomorrow morning, I have an appointment first thing to get the rear windows on the Element tinted. I mean, they are obviously already factory tinted, but I want to limo tint them, get them as dark as possible like I had on the NV200 and on the Hi-Ace as well. That way I don't have to worry about curtains anymore. I'm kind of sick of it. I mean, a couple of times that I have stayed in here, you know, I had these like pieces of felt that I was sticking up against the windows, but the felt and like the Velcro didn't work for very long and they'd fall down throughout the night and then just be wide open. It's just so easy to see through this tint. If I get a limo tinted, I'll have complete privacy in there, even at night. Won't have to worry about curtains, at least not in the back. I will still do the same thing that I've always done in the front windows with the magnets and the blackout curtain. But for the back windows at least, I think it'll definitely be worth it and help to keep things a little more minimal in there. I'll have less curtains to deal with, less chores to do every time I want to get ready to go to sleep at night. So I'm looking forward to that. I got that very early tomorrow morning, so I'm going to call it quits for the evening and then I'll get back to this after the tint is done. Tint turned out really nicely. It'll be good to not have to use curtains. It's pretty much impossible to see in here now with the limo tint in the back windows. The next step is to start going to town on this camper setup, this new modified platform. I'm basically just going to add to what I already have. I'm going to try to retain as much of it as I can, but I will say that the base that I originally built is all warped. It's completely bent out of shape. It looks absolutely terrible. I used the softwood plywood and I guess maybe just the uneven floor in the Element, and then, I don't know, maybe just the weight of putting stuff on it when we were traveling out here, it messed it all up. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna make one sheet that's just gonna go all the way across, basically making a new floor inside the Element. I'm gonna do my best to get it level, and then from there, I'm just gonna build up. So I'll take the old back part, and then I'm gonna add a second one onto the front, and hopefully come up with a nice level platform bed. Fit. That is close. I think that'll do. So all the pieces are cut. Now I just gotta cross dowel them and screw them all together, sand everything, and try to clean it up. My plan is to have this bed flap piece here flip over, and it's gonna basically rest on top of the solar power station and the fridge that I'm eventually gonna be getting, hopefully in the mail before I need to leave. And that's it. That'll make the full bed. That'll extend it all the way out. I do have that tri-fold mattress. It's up in the storage loft inside the cabin, so I'll throw that in there and we should be good to go. It's It's gonna get pretty hot today. Probably the hottest day that we've experienced since getting out here. Almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm gonna try to get this done, guys. My goal is to finish this platform and everything entirely today and try to get ready because I'm gonna be hitting the road in a couple of days. I'm running out of time at this point, so I am gonna be using the cross dowel construction method. I haven't used it in a while, so hopefully I can remember how to use that jig. My plan is to actually put dowels into this side as well and basically create a box. Before, I just had my C channel, and like I showed, it warped the base. It was really, really bad. So I figure if I can just make this into like one solid box, it's not going to warp, it's going to hold its shape. This part here, I used cross dowels everywhere, and it didn't bend or move at all. It was only the base. So I'm going to screw it all together, basically just make it one solid unit, get it back in here, take it out, sand it, paint it, and hopefully be done. I just saw my first snake out here. I was going over to the house to grab some water, take a quick break, and I heard all this rustling around as I was walking up to the house, and I look up, I'm like, what the heck was that? And I see this big snake just like going right alongside the house. It must have been like this long, big red snake. Scared the crap out of me, but I guess I better get used to it. It's that time of year. I think it's living underneath our house. I'm not really as concerned with this being a modular setup anymore. I'm just trying to build something that's nice, that's solid, and that'll live in the back of the elements pretty much indefinitely. Gotta be my favorite part about cross dowel construction. It's just real easy to just take everything apart and then put it back together. Makes it pretty simple to do little additions like this and modifications. I think I'm gonna change my shirt before I start going with this. I like this one. I'm not 100% sure why I bothered to paint this. I mean, it does look a little bit better with a coat of paint on it. I'm not very good at painting though, so I didn't do the best job. I guess the main thing that I'm hoping is that it will help to waterproof it a little bit. I do tend to put my wetsuit in these back cubbies and it's just resting on top of the wood. And I noticed before that the wood would really get saturated with water when I put my wetsuit on it to dry in there before I could get it out and actually hang it in the sun. So I'm hoping that the layer of paint will at least help with that. I know you guys probably don't want to listen to me ramble on about cross dowel construction anymore, but I gotta say, being able to take the tops off of this and sort of partially disassemble it, make it a lot easier to make modifications, to paint it, move it. It's a lot lighter when I can take a few pieces off and take it in and out of here. There's a lot of benefits to building things this way. It's not perfect, it is tedious, but once it's done, it makes a pretty nice product. Bed is built, 100% done here. I've got the bed flap attached. my goal is to just let this bed flap come over at night. I can pull the bed out all the way, and I was just going to have it rest on top of the Pecron E1000 here, the solar power station, and then on the other side it's just going to rest on top of the fridge, which is the same height as the solar generator here. So it should work out pretty well. The only issue is it is a little bit off right now. There's a little bit of an angle, maybe about 2 inches or so. And that's because the floor in the Element is not level. This is something that I've dealt with in my previous Element build and in here as well. Anyone who builds out an Element camper has to deal with this. And, you know, I think what I'm going to do is just lift the base of the camper setup here up. I'm just going to take a couple of shims. I've got some leftover pieces of scrap plywood and just try to build it up and make it level and make it solid. And that might fix my problem here. I think that worked. It's almost perfectly level. All I had to do was shim it up with a couple of little strips of plywood. Feels very sturdy. Ready to go. Feels pretty good to be making some progress. It's getting very uncomfortable out here right now, so I'm gonna call it a day, at least on this, move on to something else. I do have to still do the solar. The panels will be here, I think, the day after tomorrow, so as soon as they get in, I'm gonna get them hooked up and do the same thing that I did in my original Elements. Then I'll get the mattress in, start moving my stuff in, and it'll finally be time to get on the road. I think we're ready to roll. That's two 50-watt panels connected in series running into the Pecron E1000, and it seems to be working. It pulled in power. It's actually now at 100% charged. And, you know, in terms of like installing it, those are just parts you can get at Home Depot. I've done that for multiple different builds, my NV200 and my first Element. What I like about it is that you can basically just do it in a Home Depot parking lot, and that's how I did it the first couple of times. But here I had a little bit more space. I could take my time with it. It's real easy though. You just get a couple of L brackets, those steel L brackets with the holes in them. They're 48 inches. And then, you know, drill a couple of holes and use some nuts and bolts, screw it all together, and it works really well. It makes for a really sturdy setup. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it all works out. My biggest question is, how is it going to handle the fridge? Is that battery going to be able to handle the load from the fridge and then running the fan at night and anything else that I need to run while I'm on the road? And I'm waiting for that fridge. I just watched the FedEx truck drive by on our little dirt road here, but I need the UPS truck, so hopefully he's on his way. He should be here in the next couple of hours, and then as soon as that fridge gets here, I'm hitting the road. I have got to get to Austin, Texas by tomorrow evening, and that's about 12-13 hours away, so it's going to be a bit of a mad dash. I'm going to be rushing a little bit, but as soon as I get there, I'll be able to take it easy, and I'm going to be hanging out with some friends and hopefully doing some camping and exploring, and I'm looking forward to getting back on the road. I think I'm going to enjoy the new camper as well. There's so much more storage space in there. I think it's going to work out. You know, I'll like I said, I'll keep you guys posted on how it all develops, and can't thank y'all enough for watching, for following along. I'll talk to y'all in the next one.